Hey team, welcome to the Virtus Performance Podcast. This is week 34. Today I sat down with the great man Rick Mirabella and we talked about all things business, all things life. We talked about creating a culture and creating an environment where you want to be every day and allowing yourself to attract the sort of people that make us smile and that help us, I guess, chase our passion every day. So Rick runs Runnez, which is a running studio of sorts, but it's the first of its kind, having the group training setting with 30 treadmills in front of him and a bunch of really, really cool people, as well as strength and conditioning and all those kind of things. So this was thoroughly enjoyable. It was a great chat. He's a great, great man. I really hope you enjoy it. My personal and business goal is to be just a little bit better every day. I believe everyone, especially normal people, have a story to tell. The Virtus podcast exists to help us all find small ways of consistent improvement by discussing the journey and experiences of each of our guests. Rick Mirabella, welcome to the podcast.
G'day, Lockie. Thanks for having me, mate, and g'day to all the Virtus listeners out there. It's fantastic to be here.
And hopefully a few of the Runners listeners.
Oh, definitely.
After today.
We'll be plugging this one, don't worry about that.
Good. First question for you. What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Gets me out of bed at 4:15 every morning.
Jeez, that's good from you.
It wouldn't be the same as you, mate, I would imagine.
No, I'm a little later.
No, just definitely, I love what I do, and I've loved what I've done for 11 years and a bit over, mate. Just every single day. The ability to work with people, which is one of my main passions, and
awesome.
And to, I guess, running physiology and just like impart a little bit of my knowledge, but also I feed off those 30 people waiting for me at 5 a.m. So it's an addictive thing, big fella.
Bloody earth it is. Bloody earth it is. What is it? Just the group time that gets you out of bed at 4:15, or because that's a fair thing to do every day, get up at that time?
I certainly don't do it easily, as my fiancée Cheryl would attest to. It's a lot of snooze buttons.
Been there.
Yes,
daily.
Yeah, it's hard. Mate, to be honest, 5 till 7 is just cranking with us, and it always has. So
that's awesome.
I've had it. It's a no-brainer for me to be there, and I genuinely love being there at that time of day. As hard as it is for the first few minutes.
Yeah, well, that's the thing I've kind of identified. I never get to 7 a.m. and I'm shitty, because I start at 6, so I'm up at 5. But once I get to 6:10, I'm all good. And you see all the smiling faces, or half smiling, half asleep.
Yeah.
And they give you the energy to get up.
It definitely makes our job a lot easier, and I don't think any of us, if we weren't that way inclined, would do it for as long as any of us
Definitely
have done it for. So. Look, I love every single person I work with, as do you. So we're pretty lucky. Like, I don't think many people go into work and genuinely love everyone. So I because it's I guess it's our environment. We create the environment.
Exactly.
So we can, without knowing it, I guess we've manipulated who we work with, because they come to us, don't they? We don't go looking. So we're very lucky, and I certainly wouldn't change it for the world. Yeah, by 7 a.m. I'm really up and about and ready to launch.
What does a normal day look like for you? You're obviously not straight through till 9 p.m.
No, certainly not, mate. Since we've moved into HQ, the big building, we at 7 I usually get half an hour of, if I'm not, obviously a little bit of talking, a little bit of resetting. So I've already knocked out 2 Runners sessions by then.
Awesome.
And then or S&C sessions, depends on the day. And then 7 or 7:30 I'll do a little bit of planning, bookwork, whatever I need to do, programming. A lot of remote programming, so it's only half an hour. Then I'll roll into a couple of PTs, and then there's usually the mid-morning stuff, and then by midday I'm pretty much done for coaching.
Awesome.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I'll go back and do it all again for a couple of hours at night, and roll through on a Wednesday and Thursday some footy clubs as well. So that's my average day. Like, I don't do as many hours as some of my tradie mates, and My fiance works heavily in the headquarters as well. She probably does more hours than me. There's nothing sure about that, mate.
Yeah.
She's the brains behind it all. I just I'm just at the front of it. So yeah, I definitely am lucky enough to have a nap and try to get a session done and just get the planning done. I think people like me and you, if we get the planning done when we can, I think
everything else is so much
it makes 5 a.m. You can be yourself. You can roll in it and be yourself and show the personality that, to be honest, 90% of them are probably there for. Obviously, the physiology and the structures are so important, but
if it wasn't enjoyable, people wouldn't keep coming.
No, we have to plan that so everyone keeps progressing. And we keep planning, then we can be ourselves. And we can relax and we can be a little bit politically incorrect and the rest and just have fun with it because we know that everything's taking care of itself.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I love that. Talk to me about Runnez and the idea behind it. How to get started, because it's a little different to. It's probably one in its own.
Yeah, well, definitely one in its own when it first started. So footy background and endurance running as well. But yeah, I started strength and conditioning model in group stuff, but more PT and running groups. And then at the start of 2007, I was thinking this is just too hard because I loved, as everyone does, you love working with all kinds of athletes.
Yeah.
I love the general population runners that wanted to do things that they never possibly thought possible. And on a track, it was just too hard. So to succinct it really quickly, it's a quality workout on a track session, indoors on treadmills. We run on a system, and it's been pretty similar for a long time. You obviously tweak it and stuff falls by the wayside, but we try to get the quality programs in. So the VO2 power quality, the lactate threshold stuff, fartlek, hills, and speed endurance. So we'll tick those in a month, and then the volume running. So if I've got runners or triathletes, they will do their volume outside on a structured program, obviously, from us. So, but the reason it works, so I brought it indoors at the start of 2007, is because of that reason. So if I've got 15 guys and girls at Ballon Park athletics track, and obviously you might have Lockie training for a VFL season, you might have a couple of guys training for a sub-3 marathon, you might have a couple of ladies training for a real fast 10, and you might have a fella that wants to drop 20 kilos and might be training for mental health. The ability to, it's really hard to do the prescribed session for many reasons, the weather, but more importantly, you don't want people feeling insecure about, you don't want people going, oh, geez, Lockie's killing me, he's doing 72-second laps, and my 90%, quote unquote, is, I shouldn't have done the fingers. I just did the fingers there. So I just did the quote unquote.
This is audio, mate.
I just
We're
said,
not a video
where's
yet.
the video? No. My 90% quote unquote is going around in 2-minute laps. I just hated that, and I didn't want that. More to the point, as we all know.
That.
Yeah, number one rule in performance is continuity, and I feel like outdoors with what we needed, the continuity just wasn't there. So yeah, I brought it indoors. I started renting space at a commercial gym. The systems was the same. They've certainly been tweaked in 11 years. I've improved a lot. I would hope. I hope I'm better than last week. But and that's just why it's worked. So the continuity of it all enables these guys, and some are at the real pointy end, but every single week we get a couple that are really nervous and haven't ran much before and are intimidated by big groups of 25 and 30.
Yeah.
Once they come once, they very rarely leave, and it's because I believe it's the structure and the environment. So real quickly, the percentage ratings, I guess. That's the biggest questions, because we have got some intros out. They're about to launch online with an app we're doing, but awesome. It's really simple. So if Lockie's running 70%, that's what we call marathon pace, but it's sustained effort, so it's still below aerobic threshold. 80% half marathon, and I guess you'd call that tempo running or aerobic threshold. 85 to 90 is getting up to 10 to 5k race pace.
Yeah.
And we use, for people that have never run before, that 90% you really can't talk too much. 95% we call 1500 pace, but that's a pace that you're really working. So you can do it for shorter efforts, like even above VO2 pace. And then 100% or maximal and above is like you're running an 800 metre race. And as you know, with your background, that's agony. But we might only do it for 40 to a minute or 70 seconds. So most of it's time-based.
Yeah.
So it just works. And, I wasn't expecting... I started this, like all those years ago. I wasn't expecting to do what it's done now, that's for sure.
Well, you've filled in a little niche in an area of the industry that, like I said, is done one way. and it's done on tracks, and you brought it indoors, which is super cool because and I haven't been down, and I apologise for that because I've been meaning to for fucking 3 years.
I'm the same, mate.
Yeah, there you go.
Bird is top notch, by the way. First time, it's beautiful here.
Stop it. But seeing, you can have. I love the idea of having 5 people that are all at different levels, all doing their own thing next to each other, and you stay next to that person the whole session, and regardless of whether you're working at one person's working at 15 k's an hour or 13, they're going to be running together with each other against each other, and it's a pretty special environment that you've created, and it's cool to share a few clients between the two gyms because we tick off both boxes. We
certainly, and we do that. For the listeners, we do share a few, which is awesome, and I love it. I do love that because I love the fact that they can improve at their own rate, and we're always big, as you are, on do the work, but be patient, and patience is so bloody important.
Get used to being consistent
in physiology and everything. Like we can't afford to rush these things, and especially the aerobic metabolism. It's going to take 2 or 3 years for these guys to even think about being near their peak. So it's real cool to see them change. And when we flick the switch that finally says, okay, listen, I don't have to push as hard as what I think I should, because should and what I should be doing and what I want to be doing is a lot different. I've got to hold back.
I hope Pulsey's listening to that little bit. Pulsey, rewind, play again, rewind, play again.
Pulsey is one. You can have that on repeat. Maybe put that as your snooze alarm. Pulsey is a good example. During some of his preparations, before he's broken a couple of times, but he's done 2 Ironman. We've just had him way below 5k pace, and it's worked.
Yeah.
And it does change. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, it will change your physiology if you do it smart. You don't have to always go out at what we call supra maximal and stuff. And Lockie can. The best thing about it is if, say, Lockie's had a big week on the track and he might have done a 25k easy yesterday, and now he's got to back up on a Monday. I've said, Lock, mate, you're really tempo pace today, and Lockie can talk a bit of shit and talk about the weekend and help another fella out. Well, while Lockie's getting the workout that he needs, but maybe the fella next to him, it's his quality of the week. It's his session to really go to the well. So I want that fella next to him to really go balls to the wall, and that's where it's exciting because you can manipulate everyone in the room, and you don't have to. And
it creates an incredibly supportive culture and environment because you got the guys that are doing the tempo stuff that can egg on the guys that are like I said, balls to the wall.
It's exciting,
and vice versa. It's pretty amazing, I guess, environment and culture you created. When you first started it, did you set out to create what you've done now?
Not on purpose. I love my 2 passions, certainly endurance running and Aussie rules footy. And I've always been in both of those environments. So I guess I tried to look with running, and some of my absolute idols in the coaching world. We can get to that later, but some of them are really good. Some of them probably aren't as good as articulating. And that footy, I believe that it's a footy I was a battler, but the football has probably made me the coach I am, to be honest. The running physiology is what I'm probably passionate about, but the footy culture is just the greatest thing on earth.
That ability to get all those people around.
I think you know that more than anyone. So that probably married in, 7 or 8, and then Shell was a founding member at the start of 07, and
awesome.
So Shell's my fiance, and she, before even we got together, she certainly was involved in a couple of big companies and probably saw the potential of it way before me. Like I'm certainly not creative and I'm really struggle.
You say you're not creative, but you've created this.
Yeah, but this is different. This is one of my many. I'm one of my very few talents. I stick to what I'm good at. I certainly do. I'm good at that. I know what I'm not good at either. So Shell's done a lot of that, the building, because we've, as you would know, mate, you go through a lot of ways trying to branch. We knew we had something special. We knew we had the first in the world. New York did one similar in 2014, and then Boston followed, and a couple others followed. So, but to branch it out was tough. Initially we thought we wanted to franchise it, but we spent 3 years on a. Now I knew the industry wasn't great, but those 3 years
just reminded how
me
not great it was.
And that's why we did a runner's course that was accredited by Fitness Australia, and I look that course was a lot of labour and money for us, but that was okay. But we trained 25 guys, and it just wasn't. We've got a couple still going well, and they're great people. But the other 23, just remind you about the industry. But I don't think we're here to talk negatives. But that's part of the journey.
But and it's understanding that that part of the industry is not the whole industry, because there's a lot of positives in what we do, but that part of the industry where it's really low level entry and people just do it because, oh yeah, that's something to do, or that sounds cool, or mum thinks I should do it, or whatever. But the people that are in the industry, 3, 4, 5+ years are the ones that actually live and breathe it and love it, and they're there for the right reasons.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And that's what like places I think like ours and yours, and there's a few other really good joints around. I think it's getting better. I think it's almost done all that stuff was 2013, 14. I honestly think it's getting a lot better since then, and that's why the more that I think people are smart too in 2017. They look for coaches.
They're getting there.
Yeah,
and they're able to find coaches that actually understand them or want to understand and know them as a person rather than a number.
Yeah.
Which is
certainly not a number, and certainly not which you see a lot of these guys trying to make a quick buck and that kind of stuff, which I think people see right through that as a rule these days.
And if they don't at the start, they do pretty quickly once they get started.
I can't see it lasting more than 6 months. But so that course was our first point of call, which took 3 years. We did Mirabella Mountain, which was a fun run at Mount Buller, which was another 3 years, which was a lot of logistical work, but that was great fun as well. And then we needed to branch out. We started developing this app, which is any week now.
Awesome.
Going to be in your iTunes store, and then which is a bit more authentic. So it's me on video with a few runners behind us, and take you through again the 4 systems: fartlek, aerobic power,
that's cool,
hills, and speed endurance. So you can do it any treadmill, any track, any trail in the world. And then we eventually we had to open up the big headquarters, but we needed the treadmills. You can't lease them; you got to buy them. So it was a process. It was as you would know, it was a fair old process. So, and we needed space. We needed a massive creation. We needed the strength and conditioning set up. So we had to find the right
tick all the boxes.
Yeah, but look, we've been very blessed. We've got a beautiful building, and we found where we needed, and the creche room and everything. So it's worked out perfect.
Awesome. When did you know that it was the right time to move out?
It was probably the right time from a business sense 3 years, 4 years ago. We only been in this building for a year and a half, guys, but it was purely the capital with us because, like most people in business, purely because of all those treadmills. And look, it's not easy. So we had to really do a lot of work. Plus, we'd spent shitloads of money on the app and the course and everything. So the app, at least the app's got a light at the end of the tunnel, whereas some of the so you spend a lot of money in business and you make sure, you hope that it all works out. And in this business, I knew that we'd have. But then you got to make sure everything's right.
Yeah, make sure it's actually what you want to be.
So probably 3 years ago, but we opened up a year and a half. So it was probably 12 to 18 months of, and again, like I was always a bit hesitant, going, oh, geez, we've got to get all that to get those treadmills. But then Shell was like, no, we'll be right, we'll get it, and we're confident that once you open the doors, it was going to be mayhem, just because you had because we're in the area, like the same area. We weren't moving 30k away. And I was confident that would be okay. And
you've got a service, and you're a big part of this. That people are willing to travel. Like you've got people going from all over the shop, right?
Yeah, we have. It's awesome. Yeah, and it's these guys travel a long way. Like I don't know if I'd travel as far as to see my ugly head at 5 a.m. Yeah, a lot of them do travel, which is beautiful. There's a few. We've got a couple of mutuals that travel, and it's really cool. So awesome. Really motivated people. To get up that early and drive 30, 40 minutes to get to us. But
what have you learnt running your own shop as well as business in the last 18 months? Like what have been the main takeaways?
So much, like I reckon. The last year and a half's definitely been the best year, but it's certainly been. You learn every day. Number one, I guess, is just to be prepared and not to overreact and to anything, because stuff's going to happen when you're dealing with 250 people. A week, and those people aren't the issue, but little things will always go wrong. Not overreact. Everything that happens in a business is that goes wrong. Thanks, mate. Is out of your control to some extent.
Yeah.
Like we try to control the controllables as you would, but things pop up that you don't expect. So just probably don't overreact. Like anything.
Well, that's exactly. You can control you can control how you react to a situation, but you can't control that situation happening.
Totally, you can. That's awesome, and that's been a big. It's the same as anything. Same as sport. Never be too high. Never be too low.
Yeah.
And just try to take it in your stride. And I guess every time you're having a bad day or a bad week. And when I say that, it might be just little things like a couple of car parking issues or little, like we've all got them, we've all had them. Different things, the bills pile up, whatever it might be. You just got to learn to just sit back, take a breath, and really be grateful for this experience. Like there's so many people that won't ever do what we're doing, and that's fine as well. But we put ourselves in this situation. So we can't afford we can't afford to be too high or too low.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, if you're having a bad week, I tell you who doesn't want to hear about it? Your athletes. They don't want to hear about it. So you've just got to, and that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
The fact that I can rock in at 5 a.m. and be happy because I've got 30 people that need me to be is actually good for me.
100%.
And you, obviously.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's when people come to us and to you guys to kind of escape all the shit that's going on in their lives. They don't want to hear about your shit. And a lot of them, I'm sure you can say the same, have become really close friends now, and then you can confide in them when you have a bit of time just with them.
Definitely
it's one of those
over a coffee or something.
Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those things that if you come in and feed off the energy of all of your clients, then you're probably gonna have a good day. And that's the way I look at it.
So true, mate. And we're very lucky in that facet as well because imagine we'll run this is why we're in the best game in the world as well. Because imagine we're in these companies that are stressful, yes, but you're in an industry you don't really like or you're working with. So I love my staff as you do. Love all the people I get to coach every day. So it's super. But yeah, that's probably the big one. Don't overreacting because it only makes it worse and things are gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
And there's a million things. You got a million balls up in the air. And you got to just try to breathe and juggle them, I guess, is the biggest thing.
Definitely. Yeah. What's, obviously the app's on its way and very, very close. Yeah. What's next for Runnez? What's the next 2, 3, 5 years look like?
Yeah, that's a really good question, mate. The headquarters at the moment is obviously... It's definitely where we want it to be. And we've got a couple of strength coaches coming on just to help me a bit next year. Yeah, because that's just at Chelsea there. The app is definitely number one because that's global and it's the way to authentically get the brand out.
Yeah.
And then definitely, it's funny, we had a bit of this conversation last week. Definitely in the CBD would be, but definitely not the size that we've got.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely structure it a little bit differently where I don't have to be there as much. And I'd love to get our product in Melbourne CBD. We had a fella come down from Sydney last week and he goes, he's an Italian fella and just looking at our setup and he goes, well, I can't do his accent. Even though my surname is Mirabella, I'm no good, am I, mate? He goes, well, my ask Rick, why here? And he looks around Chelsea and he goes, why here? Why not in CBD Melbourne? I say, mate, I started when I was bloody 20, 23, 24. I just wanted to be close to home at the time. And then and we couldn't afford to set up without the cash flow in Melbourne. So all those things, but yeah, definitely let enough rant you out. But I don't want to do it slow.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it too fast.
It's a hard one because you want to keep moving forward and keep progressing, but at the same time, if you go too fast, you could fuck the whole lot.
Quality control is massive.
That's one of the struggles I'm kind of going with at the moment. It's just like, well, some days we're at capacity and we're bursting at the seams, and it's just like, well, shit, where do we go from here? And it's a tough decision and tough.
It's hard. You want to grow, but you want to make sure you don't ever sell out either. So it's a really hard one. So I just think as long as the quality remains high. And you can train your coaches. You got lots of good ones as well. Mate, there's a possibility. That's why I'm getting a couple of S&C guys in. The runners, we're working on a couple of things that we can work. So the virtual and that kind of stuff, which means they can follow the treadmills or the screens. But the coaching, the S&C side of it, definitely need a few fellas in. So you've done that really well. You've got a lot of
Yeah, I just tried to get people in. To do the things that I was shit at, which was which we're getting there, and I'm sure you're probably similar. I hate delegating. I like doing everything myself and getting it done my way. But when you can allow yourself to uncheck the ego for a second,
that's when you grow.
Yeah.
And I've had a few really good coaches over the years, and you do have to leave your ego at the door, but that's the same as any industry. But definitely with coaching, I think it's really important that they know your system, but because they're under your brand, but you've got to let them do what 100%. They do, and that's not easy for some of us, and it's certainly got a little bit easier for me, but
if you have the right people,
there's a time when I couldn't do it at all. So because you're so passionate and proud about what you have
100%
produced, and you want to make sure that not one day goes by where someone has a bad experience. So you need everyone to have the best experience every single time, and also be ticking the boxes to be moving forward. As linear as it can be in a sports science world, but and you want to make sure everyone's got the same passion as you as far as coaching was, and like a lot of them do, but it's hard. It's bloody hard.
Definitely. Who have been the big mentors and people that you looked up to that have allowed you to get to this point?
Well, definitely, like obviously mum, dad and Chell, definitely mentors and just massive support. So those three, definitely. And then early days, I guess there's a couple of people might assume, like as a young runner myself, Tim Wallace and Chris McCarthy, so two super runners themselves. Chris was Olympian, bronze medalist Com Games. Tim was a gun, ran in America. So those guys I learned a lot from. And then now it's more, as you might be now, it's more the best coaches and the best physiologists, possibly not even alive at the moment. But people like Arthur Lydiard, Jack Daniels, Renato Canova I'm big on, an Italian coach who's they're a lot of their methodology really rings true to me, and whether I'm mentored or not, I found myself really like siding with them and a lot of their views. Those three are the big ones. Brad Hudson, I love. Alberto Salazar, even though he's under a bit of a cloud. Those 5 or 6 running coaches, and 2 of them are really good sports scientists. As far as the main 2 when I was running, and I had a few really good footy coaches, like Paddy Swain was a big influence on me as well. So,
awesome.
But that's pretty much it, brother.
That's cool. It's a lot of incredible people.
It's
cool.
You keep it you're awesome. I've listened to yours, a few of these now when I knew I was going to be on, and you got a really wide range of guys, and even look it up on your bookshelf now, there's so many different. And I'm probably not as wide as that, like Richard Branson, obviously, Tim Ferriss. I'm probably not as wide as that. I'm probably more, I'm not sure if this is just my personality, but I'm obsessed about these 2 or 3 things, and I really want to read and learn every day about what I'm really good at, and then probably 10% of the week work on my weaknesses. And I don't know, it's obviously worked so far, but I don't know if I can't retain, I just don't know if I can't retain, like dietetics and that, I always hand off. Return to sport I've got a lot better at, but I still hand off to some good people. So
but that's like you're not perfect, but you're an amazing, I guess, practitioner. As soon as you can go, you know what, I'm good at this, but this person's better, and you can handle off.
It's a lot better.
It's such a simple thing.
It is simple.
That a lot of people don't understand, and I think that's why, that's to not want to talk about negatives, but that's one of the reasons why the industry struggles the way it does, because PT courses and teach their PTs that, hey, you can do all this stuff, whereas really, you come out of a PT course, you can teach someone how to do 3 or 4 things, and that's about it. But
and I think if there's listeners on this podcast, no doubt there will be that might be doing a Cert 4 or their undergrad at the moment. I think it's crucial that you just, we tell all our guys, just continue to read every day, and maybe you pick 2 or 3 things you really want to be good at. And it was easy for me because I kind of knew already. I think that it just made it easy to know who to follow, who to read, who to research.
But when you're genuinely interested in it, how easy is it to pick up an article?
The retention is so much easier. I understand that. So if you're not genuinely interested in it, you possibly might move towards another topic or area of expertise. And but certainly, mate, they're my big ones, I would imagine. There's certainly no one off the top of my head. A lot of the good coaches that mix a little bit of science, I love. I've never been big on I love a bit of fact and
coaching, for me, is just art and science mixed in together.
So
sometimes you need to load up on the art side of things when someone just needs a motivation to get out of bed in the morning, or sometimes when they're right at the pointy end and they need to get that last little 10 seconds off their 10K. What are the things you can do? Then it's all science based. So. And that's something again, on your environment and culture you've created, like that's something that is really, really evident from someone that hasn't been there, but talks to a lot of people that come to you guys, because you're able to pick and choose when you push the art, when you push the science.
Yeah, thanks, mate. And look, you would see it as well. You got in a room of 30, you might have 5. Look, this is obviously everyone's got individual stuff going on, so you might have 5 or 6 dealing with genuine mental health problems. 5 or 6 that might be struggling at work, 5 or 6 that are really struggling fatigue, and another 5 or 6 that are flying.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, that's 25% through the room. Bang, bang, bang. It's like, wow. And not one person knows the other person's issue.
Yeah.
So it's cool because they can come there and forget, like you said, forget about it for 90 minutes or so, and hopefully start to train their psychology to work through whatever they're going through. And I'm certainly not a psychologist or even a neuroscientist, but I think that there's been so much proven with different serotonin levels and that,
well, movement creates energy and creates happiness, and all the endorphins and the dopamine, hormones that are released from you just getting out of moving and out of the house. And it's not a difficult thing to understand why so many people love running and training and things so much. It's a really simple one. And
I think we like those neurotransmitters that are released and that, but also just the social aspect as well. That release, and you get exactly the same environment.
It's a community of people, right?
And they feel a part, and it is. We are really. And sporting clubs are like family, and that's exactly what I guess we've done in a way. And everyone's got different goals, which is really cool. So. And that's exactly like you. Like you guys have got so many different team sports and team sport athletes, and you get around who's racing that weekend or who's playing that weekend, or how did Lock go at the footy, or and you talk about the game. And that's the coolest thing. That's what I love. What
do you think of the term work-life balance?
Yeah, it's a good one. it's a lot of a struggle with
something I struggle with as well.
I guess when I was racing properly, I struggled to switch off, and now the last 5-6 years business wise I struggle to switch off. It's a tough one. I think if you can prioritise 3 or 4 things in your life, I think you go a long way. I've only read recently a couple of real good gurus that work in the 90-minute rule. You've probably read it as well. 90 minutes of real intense. This is not when we're coaching. Not when we're planning or programming or whatever. 90 minutes of real intense work, followed by 90 minutes of something else, leisure or even sleep or something. And we all know sleep is the greatest tool that we can ever use.
100%.
I'm getting better, but what I was saying about prioritising, is obviously family is always first, and then family and business and friends. I think those 3 things. Not necessarily in that order: family, friends, business, and then your own training has to come in there somewhere, because you can't possibly coach in our game if you're not at least fit. And I sit here not very fit, but at least I can still do what I'm preaching. But I'm certainly not anywhere near the level.
But you've lived all that.
I know. You have lived. And we've all got. I'm 10 years older than you, mate, but we do definitely want to keep getting better, don't we? I've got in the back of my head still things I really want to do on an individual basis. But I don't articulate that often. I just want it to. I know that it's there, and one day I'll have that balance to be able to go work, train, plan, family,
and
friends.
It's a never-ending battle to find that balance.
Don't get me wrong. I've got a lot better, and I think the headquarters, because we're such a session based as you are, I don't have to be there all the time, because if there's no sessions, the gym might be open, I've got staff on, I can get out and I can see all the kids' sport. We've got 3 kids, so I can get to most of their sports, and that's the most important stuff for me. Not missing that. Certainly don't get out on the town like I would have used to, but we still socialise, and still, because in our game, we're done Saturday mornings, we don't work Sunday, so we can still get out and have fun. But I think the training as a coach takes a massive hit, and I think it's definitely number one. The number one thing, it's the first thing to go.
Definitely. And I've found, obviously, you've listened to my podcast, but the one that Pulsey interviewed me, but I was just all footy for so many years. And then as business started edging footy out a little bit by little bit each year, my training is like you said, the first thing to go. And it's going, well, shit, what's the priority now? And for me, if I've got an hour free, I'll come down to the office and do some work, which is, if you told me that 5 years ago when I used to love training, I would have been like, nah. But it's finding and making myself, kind of like we talk to our clients about, it's making myself actually do the training, because that's going to make everything else better.
It does, but because you're such a high achiever, and before we went on air, I was, not to pump his tyres up, but I was saying what a great job. I've watched Lockie from afar for a few years, and to play VFL senior football at such a strong club as well and run the business is ridiculous. Like I didn't know how he was doing it, because I knew how much my performance had dropped off in all assets of sport. So to be able to good on you to be able to play that level of footy for so long, because most of those guys, as good blokes as they are, haven't got the business stress that you would have had, and I'm sure a couple have, but not many. Not at VFL level. It's just too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just way too hard.
We had a pretty cool group at Pies with a lot of the guys that, they'd be working 14, 15-hour days trying to fit in footy around it. But that's why VFL, I guess, lifespans are so short.
So short, mate.
Because most guys are in there for a year or two and they go, holy shit, this is tough, and go back to local. And
it's so I really love the VFL boys, and worked with many of them, and the way they did it after being on the tools for 10, 12 hours, and and they're the load they had to do, especially in the summer, but even in season on Wednesday nights, the load you've got to take on the body. And then the AFL boys, obviously, we both work with many, that they can go home and sleep, or they go in the chill out zone and play Xbox, and they're the first to admit that, and that they're all great blokes, but they know they've got it good.
They definitely do have it good, and yes, they do all the extra stuff, but that's not the same as working 40, 50-hour weeks. So
I guess back on that, like with the work life, someone like yourself, I hope to still be seen play footy for the next 10 years. You'll end up playing 200 more MP-NFL games. So that then, how are you going to manage that? And that hopefully that then, have you got something in the back of your head that you want to, at the moment it's hard, but you can still get the best out of yourself.
Yeah, I'm just balls deep in work at the moment, and I'm okay with that. And what I've done, because it's my first year out of VFL next year, I booked a holiday for I'll miss the first couple of games. I'll be in South America, because I was just like, if I don't give myself a break now, I'll probably never have one. So next year is going to be a little bit of a, I'll still be training, I'll still be going to footy and loving footy, but I'm just going to try and enjoy it. Just purely do it for enjoyment next year, which I see a lot of my athletes and clients, and whether it be work or sport or whatever, I see them get burnt out because they don't allow themselves time to rest. And I figured I've had years there was maybe 1 year in the middle of VFL there where I just didn't want to play footy. I just didn't enjoy it, and at the end of that year I went away for a month, came back, couldn't be more excited to play footy. So
that's grass.
It doesn't take much for you to kind of rejig that enthusiasm. You just got to allow yourself time away from it,
especially when you have been at the pointy end for so long, and it was nearly a job. You were that close to, it was 7 years at the elite level, so it's a job. It's a job, mate.
You add up the hours a week. It's definitely a solid part-time
so
job.
You need that break. It's funny, it's overseas. This is one thing, the work-life balance that Shell definitely would probably be listening to this going, well, what about the holidays? We haven't had an overseas trip since 2012, and that stuff takes a back end because you're putting so much energy into the business. And don't forget, we're thinking this is the first of its kind. It's that we have to get it right. And you're thinking you pay good lawyers to trademark everything. You cover all your bases, but you make sure, and then so you sacrifice holidays. You sacrifice time away, because so we need to really take the kids on a holiday next year. We definitely will be doing that. But it's that's the stuff that I've been really shit at. Is actually saying, no, fuck it, I need a week off. But then I'm obsessed with getting better, so it's not a good mix. But I've certainly improved. I've certainly improved. But it's. I think most people would answer the same way. I think most people in business would answer.
Yes, pretty much. Everyone kind of. I struggle with that work life, just that mindset of, well, I'm either resting or I'm working. I like to try and mix the both, but I'm not naive enough to think that if I don't give myself some time off, I'm just going to burn myself out. And my goal, I want all my staff to be going away a couple of weeks, a month, a year to be able to reset and rejuvenate, because then they're going to want to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning and train everyone. So
it's funny, we talk about so much recovery and regeneration in physiology and that, and then we don't regenerate from it. I'm not very good at regenerating from a business sense. Mate. But if I was doing a quality workout, I'd definitely recover. I'd soak it up.
But it's no different.
Your body's soaking it up. I'd love it. An easy recovery run the next day. Go, how good is this? I'm soaking up yesterday's set. but you don't do it in business because you don't think about it like that. But
no, but when you allow yourself to and step back and take a breath, like your business wins from it because you allow fresh ideas and all that kind of stuff. Which
is what business mentor, because I've had, I guess, Shelley and a couple other people around, is one thing that I think is really valuable, which I need, because people, I'm certainly not a business minded person, so I'm not sure. Have you had a few?
Oh mate, I've got a business coach now. A couple of guys that help us out with heaps of different things. That's probably one of my strengths. I've been pretty good the last 4 or 5 years is seeking out mentors and going to someone, hey, can we just sit down and chat over coffee? And I've been lucky enough to have some pretty amazing people.
Cool.
Like my accountant Chris Ting's been amazing, like Lincoln Bart, like Geordie Kerwick. I've had heaps of, I guess, people that I've been able to send a message to every now and again and just say, hey, what do you think about this? Or catch up with them once every month, and they challenge me on what I'm doing, and it allows me to check to make sure that I'm putting my, like, as you and I both pour our heart and souls into our businesses, you make sure that that's actually going to the right spot and that it's actually going to benefit in the long term. You're not just banging your head against the wall.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to be absolutely not wasting, but I guess spending energy every single day and feel like you're banging your head. But I think a bit of an outsider perspective is always good. Definitely. That's for sure.
Yeah. If you could summarise your philosophy on life, what would it be?
I reckon this would have changed a fair bit over the years. Or maybe if it's definitely today, I just think like we just enjoy every single day, and really I always say try to make the most of every single day, and that certainly sounds really corny, but just try to be happy with the people around you. And gratitude is one thing that gets thrown around so much these days, but I really think it is the key to success, and that's take it or leave it, whatever you be. Just being grateful for the vision we're in right now and the opportunity we've got right now, and not ever dwelling, like just no worry, because it's never the stress hormone, all that. Nothing's gonna flourish out of worry and concern. So whatever the situation may be, we're grateful for whatever we've got and we move forward. Probably 10 years ago I would have said just hard work, just work, hard work, and that doesn't really, like, it doesn't suffice, because you need to be able to deal with different
so much
situations.
more to life than just hard work. And,
there's so much
we want to be working hard at times, and we want to be letting ourselves relax at times, and we want to be having fun.
My way of having fun was always like going out and having massive weekends, and that isn't, like, it's great to have a few beers with mates, but it's certainly not the right way, because I was so intense with work, training, drinking, training, drinking. But
he's going extremes.
But I've got a lot better at, and just being happy in every like, if I just love to smile and laugh, and I think we all do in headquarters, and obviously Virtus as well, and I think there's some science now that says, like, that if you are racing 1500 and you literally just fucking smile and embrace it, like, it's actually got a bit of, I don't think it's 10%, I can't remember the data, like, look at that paper for me. Hopefully it wasn't sample size of 3, it was a bit bigger sample, but and
if you don't run as fast, you'll still be happy.
You'll be happy.
Smiling.
While you're throwing up. But it's definitely just to be happy every day, and look, don't waste, like, life's so short, and all these analogies that all of us hear every day, but it is true. Like, let's just, like, you could easily make the worst of a situation. I think if you're feeling like, geez, I'm tired, or Christ, I could do it for a break, or Jesus, why didn't such and such do that, or this? You just really embrace each day and go, geez, I'm so stoked just to be sitting next to Lockie talking shit for an hour. Like, life's great.
Mate, there's worse ways to spend an afternoon.
He's looking good too, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop it.
His hair's looking so good today. Fuck.
I love you. One of the guys, like, probably my favourite person to follow at the moment is Dr. Perry Nicholson. He's a just incredible practitioner. He's Stop Chasing Pain on Instagram if you want to jump on him. He's been throwing fire every day, and I've literally screenshot like every one of his posts for like the last week because he's just been on fire. But one of my favourite things he said is worrying about health will destroy your health. And it's just like, as soon as you start worrying about being stressed, you're probably going to be stressed. Like, as soon as you start worrying about not having the rig you want, or not running the times you want, you're probably not going to get there. Like, if you focus on you move that mindset from a what I don't have or what I'm not getting at the moment to, well, here's what I need to do to work on it and what I actually need to do to be positive, you're going to get to where you want to get to. And like for me, I've been probably lucky that I've surrounded myself with positive people that help instill that into me. But it's just,
that's so true. And that's beautiful. And that stuff is what you need to see.
Yeah.
But you can't just see it and forget about it. Like
you're and act on it.
You're someone that sees it and acts on it and also helps hundreds of others act on it. And I'm definitely the sime. But geez, I wasn't very good at it a time ago. And but that's the process is the one thing that I really try to instill, because if you're listening to this podcast and you might be having an average day, you need to know that let's control the controllables and let's help. Process is everything. That motivation can be a real fleeting word. I think we both know that. And I'm not massive on. I know you're not either on motivation or crazy about like weight loss and all that crap.
Yeah.
It's a process-driven thing, and if we take care of the processes for months and months and months and months on end, believe me, physically, mentally, emotionally, you will be where you want to be.
Yeah.
But it's unless the athlete's buying in. And they do buy in. If they're coming to see me or you, then they're buying in. They're not getting into a 12-week challenge or another fad on Instagram or another bloody franchise.
Yeah.
They're coming to they've got purpose.
And they're gonna from where they are now to where they are in 12 weeks or 24 weeks or 36 weeks, they're gonna be in a better spot.
Oh, I say 3 years.
Yeah.
I say
perfect.
I say look, you've got to give this 3 years.
Yeah.
And regardless of if they want to run a marathon for Boston or they want to bloody emotionally feel better, they'll feel better every day. The byproducts are, yes, you'll feel better every single day. Yes, you'll be a much productive employee or you'll be so much better at work. You'll be so much better mum or dad. The byproducts are all those things. You'll feel better in your jeans. You'll look better. You'll feel great in photos. You won't feel bad about getting in the pool, but the actual main goal, the Group A goal, I did the fingers again. The Group A goal is that marathon in 3 years or 2 years or 18 months.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's pretty cool. The byproducts are the aesthetics and all the other stuff, the emotional health. But the A goal, which we
and then they get that sense of achievement when they hit it.
Yeah.
And like no one would spend 3 years with you or me and go, you know what, I regret the last 3 years because they've actually spent the time and put the effort in to actually achieve what they want to achieve.
And the data doesn't lie. The way it's obviously not linear, but the upward trends don't lie. Like it's really, really cool. I think that's what me and you take out of sport and coaching and all the research and just general team and athletic sport. That this is where we want to be in September. Like you at the end of September. How am I going to do it in November? This is what I've got to do. You don't just win flags.
Here's the process.
You don't just drop 10 kilos in 8 weeks to look at your bikini body. It's a process. And a lot of the stuff you might not think is fun, but you can make fun.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the journey.
But exactly. You start enjoying the little steps along the way. Like, one of the things that I hate almost more than anything in this industry is like 6, 8, 12-week challenges. So we're gonna kind of throw our take on an 8-week challenge next year.
It's a piss take.
I love it. Not so much piss take, but what is, because we want to piss on everything that is that they stand for with 8 12-week challenges.
You're the bloody king.
And we want to teach people. It's going to be we're going to market it like an 8 to 12 week
I didn't know this, by the way. This wasn't a segue.
But yeah, it's so we're planning one for early next year, which will be.
So your take, which is a lot more.
It's just completely our take, which is all movement based. We want to teach people how to move, and then we can add the capacity stuff as we go. So
movement over muscles, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
This why this bloke is the king. Vern Gambetta as well is a big.
I'm really excited to be a little bit abrasive and to kind of throw a little bit of shade at the way the industry's run, because it's like everyone, like, yes, 12-week challenges, rapid weight loss, whatever, for 5% of the population can be the thing that sparks them to get moving, but it doesn't instill the discipline and continuity, like I said before, that gets people where they want to get to. And I think that's really important. I guess the analogy I probably use it on this podcast a bit, and I used it this morning when I was talking to one of my clients, is everyone wants to stand at the bottom of a mountain and look at the summit and go, I want to be up there, but very few people, unless they actually commit to it, will commit to taking every little step along the way. And when you're able to enjoy the journey at 100 metres and 200 metres, and you're able to enjoy the view halfway up and 3/4 up, you start allowing yourself to actually enjoy the process. And it's so much more about the journey than the destination.
That is, if you can take one thing out, forget about what I'm saying. If you can take one thing out of that, listeners, bloody hell, that is deep.
I
got goosebumps now.
I just blacked out for a second. I can't actually remember what I said.
I think he was in what we call the flow state, ladies and gentlemen. He was in the flow state. He went really hard, but I love that because looking down and saying, you know what, look, we always say that how far you've come, appreciate how far you've come and all this, but that's actually not cheesy. It's actually real. Like enjoy each day.
Yeah.
That's what we tell our guys. Like if we're going to be having a good day. Like some days you're going to be thinking, geez, everything is just easy. Okay, and then you try to diarise what you've done. Why is everything easy? But it just could be one of those days.
Yeah.
And then some days, obviously, it's a chore. But you can't. You really got to avoid making it a chore because it's not a chore. It's still a bloody privilege.
But you can't have those easy days without putting in the work on the days where you feel shitty or don't want to get out of bed. Or
one thing I said at our presentation night a couple of weeks ago is we were giving out the awards and a few of the award winners hadn't done any races this year. So. No, not one race, but just such good people. And you know what? 52 weeks of the year. So they were there, fronting up. Now, possibly 22 to 25 of those weeks, on average, they probably felt physically like rubbish, whether it's work or whatever. But they're the most important weeks. Those 22 weeks out of the calendar year where you don't feel like doing it is when you really got to do it.
Yeah.
The 30 weeks that feel great, of course, that's average. That's
easy,
obviously continuous. But those 30 weeks in a calendar year, and that's just going off someone like me physically, the way I might feel, and a lot of the guys when we get deep into feedback. But yeah, like those 22 weeks, listeners, they're the ones. So that's the money, and that's where when you got a race or a game or a sport, they're the ones you're going to be strutting around because you know you've done the work, and maybe your opponent took a few easy weeks in those 22 weeks, and it's very exciting.
To steal one from Schneider's, which he's probably stolen from you, to be honest, money in the bank.
Schneider's
money in the bank.
That's I don't know who stole that from who. That might be his.
He'll tell you it's his.
That's the only thing. If it's his, it's the only thing that's his, I reckon. Yeah. He's stolen a lot from me over the years.
And just ticking the boxes, that'd be yours, surely.
Nah, that actually, fuck. That's two. There is two.
That's all he's got.
I'll give him those two.
and that's it. But it's just finding those little wins along the way.
Investing now, and look, all the best coaches say, look, invest now, and like it's never ever not going to pay you back. Like you're not going to. Yep. You're not going to get to game day, race day, or even just the weekend feeling average. Like you're going to be, even at work. So right now it's 1:00 in the Arvo. We're going to feel more productive. So life's great if you move. Simple as that.
Just get moving, and if you don't want to, doesn't matter. Just do it.
Just bloody move.
Just do it. And I think that's a simple one. If you can't get out of bed in the morning, you just got to do it. To count to five. By five, your feet are on the floor and carry on with your day.
That's a great way to do it. I often say just put your phone or your alarm in your shoes and just go.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one, isn't it?
That's a really good one.
I think I made that up.
There you go, you've got one.
I got one. You put the phone, and you just have to, because if you think about it, or if you go, oh, fuck, I've had 3 hours sleep, or this and that and this and that, I'm not going to get home till 8 o'clock tonight, just get up, because you'll never, ever, ever, ever regret it. And if you've got a coach or a practitioner that's worth his weight, he'll play it by ear on the day as well. So he'll adjust on the fly.
Everyone will be like, you need to chill out today, or you need to do this, or today's the day to go hard and step it up and
play
sure. It's really, really important. All right, I've got a bunch of questions for you that you can be as succinct or as long-winded as you'd like.
Okay.
Now I feel as though this one's going to be a long-winded one. What is your favourite or the greatest Olympic moment ever?
Oh Christ, there's a few. It's funny, the one that comes to mind, I'm instantly, I'm not a swimmer, but Kieran Perkins in 96 in lane 8 was, you would have been 4, but I was 14 nearly, 13, 14, and that was, and again, there's so much else, but that was unbelievable. It was written off by everybody. Daniel Kowalski was the favourite, and Dennis Committee, I just remember the commentary so vividly, saying this is rare gold, and it was lane 8, which means he qualified slowest in the final. He had a bronchitis or a bit of a flu, and I just looked at that in year 8 and go, this prick is what it's all about. The mental toughness to not only overcome the physical ailments that he was going through that week, the mental ailments that every bastard was writing him off. The fact he couldn't see anyone because he was in lane 8, and again, I'm not a swimmer, but I think that's hard. So lane 8, and he's just, do you remember that?
Especially over that distance.
And he's 1,500 metres, 1,500 for the guys that don't know Perkins, and he's just mentally got him what we said before, the flow state, and just refused to believe that he wasn't still the best, because he'd been the best for 4 years. That one, and look, as a Emil Zatopek, with being running, I can't not. So Zatopek in 52 did the triple that no one else will ever do, the 5K, 10K marathon gold medals. So no one will ever do that again. And I know it was 1952, but you still had to run those 3 races, and the times would still, like, they're obviously 60 years on, but they're still not bad times. He was a freak, Zatopek. But yeah, those two, like, I reckon, mate.
Good, very good. That was for Palsy.
Oh, was it?
What were you like at school?
Geez, I loved what I love now. I loved exploring performance and physiology. I loved Year 12 PE. I loved all that, but yeah, not great. Like I guess I struggled to mature early on. I loved my mates. I loved footy. I loved partying far too much.
Nothing wrong with that, mate.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, it definitely distracted me. I wasn't. Yeah, PE and footy. I had an interest in helping people and leadership roles, but unfortunately, academically, probably wasn't given those roles just because I was too much. I was probably playing up too much. But I love school. Second
part of that question: if you could add 5 subjects or subject areas to the school curriculum that you wish you were taught, what would they be?
Yep, I think. That's a very good question off the cuff. I think a couple more that are real life would be great, because someone like me, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't think there was a future in what I did, especially not a viable future. Yep. I think a careers pathway, like, I don't know about 5, but just 2 or 3 different career choices. Now, just to show me that no, you're actually not cut out to be a tradie, because you're quite useless. But maybe I could do that.
I'd be exactly the same.
I didn't have got VCAT and that stuff now and all VCAL, but not when I was young. Definitely a couple of 4 or 5 more choices. Like maybe some screening in year 10. Just say,
figure out
where your passions lie, because I think we all really flourish when we're working with our passion. That could be anything: cars, sport, hair, whatever.
Just finding out what you love. And
so if we can get that early, and I think I would have got that coaching physiology early, and then because I just remember loving the energy system so young, and just how do you work on this? Like, how do you manipulate these energy systems to be better? That was always my passion, still is today. So it's weird. If I had known that in 16, 15, maybe they could have got me into 17, 18. But because it was just the basic maths and English and science, I, as a young, naive 17-year-old, thought, well, maybe I'm just going to be a trader like all my mates, and which is not a bad thing. They're killing it, and they're all my best friends. But I was no good at that.
Wasn't you?
No, it certainly wasn't. And everyone can attest to that. So probably a career-based thing, and I reckon a passion finder. If you can find your, and even if the kids are totally oblivious to their passion at the time, maybe there's a process to help them. I know Pulse and a few other real good VCE teachers are so good now at finding it in 2017. Certainly wasn't like that when I went to school. Like, I finished in 2000s. It's a long time ago, so they're a little bit different. They just wanted to get you in and out, and get your VCE.
Exactly. If you could invite 3 people to dinner, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Okay, so we won't. So I'll go celebrities. So I won't go family and friends. We'll go definitely Vern Gambetta. We spoke about him earlier, just because. Yeah. He's 70 something and he's still such a
mate. I love reading his posts every day.
I love him. I love everything he stands for, and that's why I'm really looking forward to what you're doing next year of that challenge, because he would love that. He's the kind of person. So Vern's just a movement expert, and he's been an S&C and science guru for 50 years. Lockie, maybe more. Started in swimming, track and field, but he's brilliant. Just to pick his brain, because he's forgotten more than I know. Him,
both of us.
I think Alberto Salazar as a distance running coach for many reasons. I think he's the best coach in the world currently, but he's under a lot of suspicion. So I'd love to ask him what the hell's going on. But I still believe his physiology, and that's top notch.
Yeah.
But he's definitely, hopefully, not doing something dodgy. But everyone seems to think he is. So, and someone for a bit of fun. That's a good question. Someone like David Boone. Just to see if he can replicate the 52 cans he did from Melbourne to London.
Yeah, that's pretty elite.
And if me and him can go beer for beer and see who dies first, that'd be my 3.
I think it'd be you.
Yeah, that's a good mix.
Yeah, that's a great mix. What are you most proud of?
My family. Awesome. Definitely my family, number 1, and number 2, obviously the community I've created. Awesome. I think they're the only 2.
That's huge.
If you can, you don't. you don't look back at awards and all that stuff. I think you look back at the people that you've met and the people that are still around. So definitely family and community, friends. Because if you can have a coffee and a beer with some good people and enjoy their company, that's really what you want, isn't it?
100%. Flip side of that question, what are you most ashamed of?
That's a good question. There's been many evenings on the piss where I'm probably not proud of myself, but I probably wish I had knuckled down a lot earlier. I know, like I'm 35 and we've built this, but yeah, definitely, and just footy and other things. I feel like I had unfinished business because I probably wasn't looking after myself in the way I should have, and you can never regret stuff. But yeah, definitely, I didn't look after myself anywhere near enough. And even when I was a good level of running, I wasn't looking after myself. So I've learned, I've matured a lot since that.
Yeah. If money wasn't an issue and you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life?
I couldn't fail. Well, I'd definitely still be doing what I'm doing now, but I wouldn't be doing possibly the hours, but I'd definitely be coaching the same group of people. I love what I do. I love them.
It's good to be able to give that answer.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'm that's with all my hand in my heart. I couldn't be more honest. Definitely coaching. I'd travel a lot more with my family, and I would. I'd love to take a experiment like a. I'd love to just dabble a little bit because money is an issue. I don't need the money. I believe I still have a little bit to offer in football conditioning. I feel Aussie rules conditioning. But awesome. That's just an old passion on the side. It's got you wouldn't do it just because it's so hard to make money and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like that's still a bit of unfinished business as well. But that's it's certainly just for a bit of fun.
Nice. Do you have a mantra?
I've got a few mantras people could quote for me. Jesus, how many? There's kick again. There's a
just load them up.
No, I can't give you time. I got all my catchphrases. There's too many. I think work hard, recover well would be the generic one because and just enjoy every single day, whether it's hills or whether we're doing mile repeats or whether we're doing a 30k long run or whether I've told you to recover or Lockie's doing off leg stuff in the pool. Just embrace every person that comes into your life because they're all there for a reason. I feel.
I love it. What is success to you?
Well, I think it's happiness. I think I certainly don't think it's money. I think it's definitely being happy, and everyone's version is different. But stop. Really, if you're listening and you're not happy, you've got a number one rule is to stop comparing yourself to other people. And that if you can not compare yourself to Joe Blow down the street who's putting on Instagram 6 times a day, you'll be fine. Yeah. That is number one. Number two is your life will, if as long as you got that attitude, the rest will come. Like Locke said before, that's what he said about the focus, like the negative focus on I can't wear a bikini, I've got to lose weight now.
Yeah. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So
true. And that what he said before, I was nodding, again, no cameras in here, which is disappointing. I was nodding my head in total agreement of the great man. But yeah, just to be happy every day. And it sounds so easy for me to say because I just said that I love what I do. But if you're in a job that you don't like, let's work on things to make you happier and let's work on a process to possibly get you out of that career, or how can I make this work for me?
That's exactly it. Like one of the questions I love to ask is, well, you're not happy. Okay, that's fine. You're aware of it. What needs to happen for you to move into something you love? And then it's just a step-by-step process. So it might take 5 years or 10 years, but
you know you're working towards a process, and like exactly what I was going to say, well, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but just the fact that you've got something, and like I know you're really good at this with your conversation you have with your guys, like how can I get you to be happy in your life as well, which I think is fantastic, and we often have the same conversations. Just if you're not happy, if there's something bothering you, you come, let's have a coffee and let's nut it out, and it might take 3 coffees or three different times to try to come up with a resolution to work towards, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Hopefully, people walk away a lot more intelligent for the conversation. Just say, you know what, I don't have to live the way I've been living for the last 20 years.
And that's a cool thing because we don't have to give the answers. We just ask the questions and everyone figures it out.
Yeah, and I feel sad for people that don't have someone to help them through that, because there's many people that aren't involved in sport that don't have that. I wouldn't imagine, like the amount of people we come across right in a week, they're awesome because they've got networks that
they put themselves in the environment where they can,
and they might not have wanted to at the first, but they do now and they love it. But there are people that unfortunately just work, go home, go to bed and hate it.
Yeah.
They're the ones I want to help. And that's, I think, things like you're doing here and everything's really cool because anyone can listen to this. And hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps people that
one person.
We might never meet them, but yeah, that's brilliant.
All right, last couple. A few favourites for you, or for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you for a favourite. Favourite movie?
Favourite movie?
First thing comes in your head.
Rocky IV.
Oh, cool.
Varsity Blues.
Nice. Favourite song of all time?
Jesus. Yeah, this is Bogan Somerville. Paul Kelly, To Her Door.
Oh, great track. Very, very good track. Favourite joke?
Oh, mate, I'm not good with this.
Come
no, it wouldn't be G-rated. No.
It's okay, mate. It's podcast. You can do whatever you want.
Okay, sorry.
Favourite book?
Oh, there's a few. Jack Daniels' book is brilliant.
Yeah.
I love Steve Magnus, The Science of Running. He's really, really good. Arthur Lydiard, Running to the Top. And Pete McGill's got a really good book out, The Runner's Body.
Awesome.
So those four.
Very, very nice. Favourite way to spend a Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, so feeling good. Yeah, maybe a long run in the morning, so you feel good, and then the afternoon would definitely be with Lockie's just dropped his pen. So you've ran in the morning, so you're feeling good, Lock. You've ticked the long run box. Family, the kids, and a few mates around with a few cold beers, watching the footy or the cricket, and just having a barbie with 10 or so mates and the kids running around and just enjoying the people in your life while you're watching a bit of sport.
Perfect.
That would be the perfect day for me.
Love it. Favourite piece of advice you've ever been given?
Just don't worry. Just don't bloody worry so much. And I was big on that, and I still have to work on it. But yeah, just enjoy every day.
That's a cool thing to identify, that you're always all this stuff that all our clients struggle with. We struggle with the same shit,
oath, mate.
And we've still got to work on it. But because we're constantly reminding ourselves of it, and we see people
every single day.
Achieving it. Yeah, exactly.
And I don't shy away from that. We don't talk about ourselves in a day, me and you, but we remind ourselves internally, and I think that's why we can help.
Definitely. Last one, favourite quote?
Favourite quote? There's a Steve Prefontaine quote. This is a bit off the top. Steve Prefontaine's probably my favourite runner of all time. I've got a massive thing of him at HQ on the wall.
Awesome.
His quote, now this is probably not really about coaching or anything, but I just stuck with me forever, and it kind of made me feel like when I was racing, I obviously didn't have his ability, but he said, I can tolerate more pain than anyone else on the earth. And I don't know why that's the first thing that comes to my head. There's we've said a million cliches today, but that one there, just the ability to say, listen, like his VO2 max was 82, mine's 60. His running economy was superb, mine's probably not. But at the end of the day, when it comes to tolerating pain, we all can be equal. 100%. Like, we all can be equal. So I love that quote.
That's cool. Love it. Mate, how can people learn about Runners and find out about Runners, and when's the app out?
The app's out Christmas Day, Lockie. Hey. It's been a process. Christmas Day 2017. So
when this podcast is released, it'll be out.
It'll be out. Fantastic.
So download that shit.
Yeah, so runnersapp.com. Runnersapp.com is the app, and we're runners.com and all our social networks, just Runners. But yeah, mate, it's been a pleasure. One of the great men.
Thanks for coming on.
No, thanks, bud.
Love your work.
Love you.